Welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a video about some different techniques that I'm using in a Halloween themed journal. And first thing I want to share is that I found all of these pages that I'm using, that I'm displaying today, in free mail order catalogs. These large ones all I got from this catalog, Halloween Haven by Grandin Road. And it can be requested to be sent to you. Actually, it's a year old, so I'm not sure if these are still current, but there are hundreds of mail order catalogs that you can request to have sent to your home for free. And I always love using them for arts and crafts and decoupage. This one I think would be great for ephemera. So that one's Grandin Road. This one is Sturbridge Yankee Workshop. And then Artful Home always has a lot of maybe more rustic looking and artistic things rather than just household furniture and decor. But all of these can be requested from their websites. Now, the first technique that I want to share is actually something that I decided to do because I made a little mistake, and that is when I was applying these to the cardstock, I was testing out a technique that I think was intended for kind of decoupaging napkins or more porous papers onto other surfaces. So I used that the watered down white glue, and it left a lot of wrinkles and crinkles and bubbles and stuff. And so I decided to use a technique that I found out on accident when I was decoupaging playing card, and that is I used this satin Mod Podge, and it made all this texture. Does it show? Yeah, it does show up. It was completely unintentional. I wasn't too pleased about it, but it kind of also gave the effect of like artwork brush strokes. So, you know, when you're crafting, mistakes aren't really mistakes. They're just accidental discoveries of something different that you hadn't anticipated. So anyways, I decided to use the Mod Podge and just kind of go with the bubbles and lines and streaks and add some more. So it looked like I did it on purpose. So I don't know how well it shows up the texture, but it does look a little bit more on purpose than, say, this one. So what I'm going to do is show you the Mod Podge on. Make sure it's shaken. And it's not the regular Mod Podge. The regular one, in my experience, does dry flat, but this one, whatever brush strokes you see will dry that way. And because I'm doing it intentionally this time, I'm leaving the extra layers of, you know, where it's kind of thick there. I'll leave some of those in, not try and overblend things. And also it is adding a little layer of protection and stability to this otherwise very thin, very fine paper. I guess I kind of had assumed that the catalog paper, because it's thinner than magazine illustrations, that it would be able to be used the same method as something thin like a napkin, but I think because of the color photographs in them, the pages are coated, even though they are really thin. All right, so now I've got it completely covered, and you can see the streaks, and they will dry that way, but I want to just make sure there are a couple of thicker ones. So I'm just gonna all right, since I don't have a heat gun, I'm gonna go run this under my blow dryer and show you what it looks like when it's dry. And here we go, all dry. Still the bubbles, but now it also has those nice intentional streaks of artistic brush strokes. And I'm going to lay it flat underneath some books and a weight, and that kind of is how I got this one flattened out. It also should help to alleviate a couple of the extra bubbles, but that's that technique for now. The next technique I want to show is coloring lace with watercolors, lace doilies. So this is just some plain white doily. These are some that I already colored. This one I colored to match the, the cover of my journal, which is going to be this spider picture. It's got the blues and the purples all mixed together in there. So that's the plan for that. And then this one I did for one of the interior pages with the orange and black, and I wanted to give it some stability, so I colored a piece of cardstock and pasted it on. And this is another one that I already put into use. I just did this one plain black. And I will show you how I did that. Just with regular basic watercolor set. Now, the trick is you don't want it to be very wet. So I use this makeup dauber. It's already pretty moist because I just rinsed it off. And you want to use just very, very little moisture on the watercolors. So I'm going to recreate this purple and blue and black look because I like it quite a bit. And I'm going to start from the lighter color first. So let's do the lighter blue. And since this is moist, I'm just immediately going straight into this. Never really want to fully saturate the doily, otherwise it'll start to dissolve and fall apart. And if you're not getting enough color from the paint itself, just drop a drop of water onto it and let it sit for a second so it absorbs some of the color. And then there, see? You dip the dauber in. You just never want the color to get runny. I think this one I'll keep it more purple and not do the dark blue. I'll just do purple and black. That way it'll be a little bit different than the other one. So I'm going to do the same thing, just one dot of water. And you can see how it sits on there, but it sort of will absorb the pigment. Oops. And it's a little bit dark. I'll go back to purple. I don't really mind getting my pigments mixed up with each other when I'm working because I'm usually using related colors. And I want it to look a little bit darker than the final outcome because in the end it's going to dry a little bit paler than it looks right now. But anyways, that's nice and spooky looking, right? So I'm going to set that aside to dry. And this third part is an experiment, but I think it's going to work. And it's actually two suggestions. First is this is a cupcake holder that is just awesome. I mean, this can be used so many ways in crafting. It is like, not even sure. It might be a light plastic, actually. And that is why I think it can be used as a stencil. So, keeping my paints in use for this. Remove that lid because it's going to fall off by itself anyways. And I'm going to use let's see, one more drop on the black. And I think just so that this doesn't shift around, I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape to keep it in place. Let's see. That should help to keep it from shifting around. And I'm just going to because I want the entire outline to show, I'm coloring outside the lines, I guess is a good way to describe it. Always with stenciling, you don't want to oversaturate, otherwise the pigment will bleed and you won't get sharp lines. So let's see what this looks like. Not bad. Haven't decided yet what I'm going to use this for, but it's definitely a workable technique. And because this is plastic of some sort, not paper, it can be reused many times as a stencil. And of course also just used as it is, as a tuck spot or belly band or, you know, numerous ways. Anyways, I think that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment if you like something or you have suggestions. I really appreciate you watching, and happy crafting.